Hey guys, we wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about car seats. Obviously, for any parent, that's always going to be a priority no matter what it is that you're driving. But we thought it might be helpful to just talk a little bit about our experiences with car seats, specifically relating to Blue, our camper, and what works best for us. Clearly, it's going to be really down to your individual situation, the height, weight and age of your kid as to what's going to work best for you. But there are some things over and above that in terms of considerations around where you're going to store your seat when you're not actually going to be in transit and you're ready, set up for camping. Where's that seat going to live so that you can maximise your living space when you're using the van? So when we first got the van, this just so happened to be the seat that we had at the time. This is just a Britax standard high back booster seat. It's a great seat. Obviously we've kept it all this time and we use it predominantly in our car. We don't use it in the van, and the reason for that is it's bulky. It's a big seat. You know, it's a comfortable ride for the kids, which is fantastic. You can recline it, but where does it live when you want to use the van? You know, the kids don't want to sit in their car seat all the time, plus it completely inhibits the use of you as an adult to be able to use the bench seat, which is where you know, for your meals and, you know, just sitting around and gathering as a family, you just can't do that when this is in the way. So, you know, for us, we quickly learned that this wasn't really a long-term option for us for the van, and that we'd have to start thinking about finding a different solution. Our kids are 7 and 9, and so Eden particularly absolutely qualifies to be in just a regular booster seat, pretty much just like this one. The issue that we have with that though is that the Evo smart bed system that we have in the van doesn't have headrests inbuilt. Obviously if it did, you would have to then take those out to be able to put the bed down and put them back in again the next day. Absolutely, you can have that retrofitted, and it is something that you can do. We looked into it and thought about it, but you know, ultimately decided against it because for us it just felt like another step in terms of putting the van up for camping and taking it down again for traveling. And also, you know, it's something else to find somewhere for it, you know, to store the headrests overnight. It's just another thing to kind of clutter up the space. So for us, it just wasn't something that we really wanted to do, which ultimately led us to the decision that what we really did need was a high back booster, but just not one as cumbersome as the Britax that we originally had. So coincidentally, my mum had some seats that she used in her car for the girls, and it turned out to be just what we were looking for. So this is just a mother care option. What's good about this is that although it's still a high back booster, which is what we need, it's much lighter than the Britax. The Britax is kind of like a plastic frame, and it's quite cumbersome and bulky. This is more streamlined. It's a slimmer build, so it fits much better on the seats in terms of the girls having access to actually get to it, you know, even to plug in their seat belts. It's a much roomier option, and it's just lighter to be able to move around. Which makes, again, putting it away and stowing it away, which I'll show you what we do with that in just a second, just makes it just a smoother process, a lot easier. Again, it gives them the security they need. They've got that high back, they've got that headrest, we know that they're safe. So yeah, it just felt like the right compromise. So you guys can see exactly what I was talking about before. There are no headrests up here. So yeah, that's obviously a problem. And clearly we need the high back boosters for the kids. It just wouldn't be safe without them. Obviously you can see the mechanism is right here, the hinges are right here for when the bed is pulled down. The one thing that we did find really handy for the kids was to have these seatbelt extension clips here. We got them off Amazon, they're crash tested. The kids just didn't really like having to fumble way back here to plug themselves in when they got into the van. So we just found that having these extension plugs just really help with that. It just means that, you know, they can do that really easily themselves without us having to kind of help them every time they get in the van. So where do we store them when we are camping? Well, I think, you know, when we were thinking about what to do about car seats and the need that we had for the girls to be safe, but also the available space that we had in the van, You know, we really kind of thought it through, and it made sense that the area of the van that you're just not going to be using at all when you're camping is the driver's seat. So for us, it just made sense that that area of the van, that space, should be the space to store the car seats. I know that some people might, you know, opt to kind of have some tarp wrapped over the car seats, and they might pop it outside for the night. I think that's great if you're in, you know, kind of sunnier climes, but for us in the UK, we get, you know, pretty windy weather, and I just wouldn't trust that they would be there when we woke up in the morning. So I just knew that we had to have somewhere in the van that was weather tight, that we could, you know, make sure that they were definitely going to be there when we woke up in the morning, and they weren't going to be wet and damp and all that stuff. So the driver's seat seemed like the best place, and so yeah, let me just show you how we do that. First thing we're going to do is to just pop this seat back down. It's not essential, but it just makes it a bit easier, and it comes down really easy anyway, so why not? So I'm just going to push the button, and then that lowers forward like that. And then I'm literally just going to lift one seat into there, easy as pie. And then I literally just put the second seat upside down like that. And what's great about this is that when you're sleeping, you kind of end up with some extra sort of storage space. So you sort of have like a little shelf here that's kind of formed by the bottom of the seat. So we just use that for things like hoodies, for example. You know, if you just want to have one easy to grab in the morning when you get up, you just kind of roll them up or fold them up and stick them on there, and kind of just, you know, gives you a little bit of extra shelving for the night. And again, just in here, we've kind of got this little sort of well that's kind of created in between the seats. And we can just use that for shoving in some bags or some, you know, hoodies, extra blankets, that kind of stuff. So it just kind of keeps it all together. It's pretty primitive, I will say, but it works really well. And otherwise it's just dead space. You're not going to be using it, you're sleeping, you're camping, you know, it's what else are you going to use it for overnight? So it seemed to make the most sense. So the other thing that is a consideration with this as well is security for the van. I mean, my goodness, heaven forbid the worst should ever happen, and somebody tries to, you know, break into the van at night. If they're approaching from the driver's side door, you know, I kind of think this is to our benefit. So we use, you know, thermal window coverings when we camp at night. So nobody looking into the van would know these were here. So, you know, it's not gonna save the day, but it's certainly gonna slow someone down if they open the door and they don't know these are here, and then suddenly they're greeted with two big car seats in the way. You know, it's gonna take them a little longer to kind of get on with the business of trying to steal your van or whatever. So yeah, just an added benefit, I guess, an extra bit of peace of mind, and generally it's a good solution and it works well. So hopefully that's been useful. Hopefully it has helped you guys in thinking about what kind of car seats you might use for your van and your kids. But more hints and tips on traveling in a van with kids, please check out our other videos. There's a link in the top corner. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon.